teachers, and welcome to lesson 84 on mean, median, and mode and range. I don't know how it didn't make it into my title. So the mean is the average, and we've already learned how to do this. To find the mean, you add up all the numbers they give you, and then you divide by the amount of numbers, right? If I told you to find the average of 4 and 2, I would do 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So that's how I find the average. To find the median, I'm looking for the middle number. And I do that by putting all of them in order, numerical order, from least to greatest. And then I'm going to cancel off one on this side, one on that side, one on this side, one on that side, until I get to the middle. And that's my median. It's the middle number. If you got two numbers in the middle, then you need to find the average of those two. So like I said before, if you have two numbers that you're looking for the average of, you add them and divide them by 2. Sometimes you'll get a median that's a decimal number. And maybe not so much in the 5th grade questions they give you, but certainly as you get older you will. And that's okay because you're just looking for the middle of the data. So we got mean, average. Everybody say that. Mean, average, mean, average, mean, average, mean, average, mean, average. Now we got median, median, middle, median, middle, median, middle, median, middle, median, middle, median, middle. Hey, you know what? Median kind of looks like medium, and medium is like what's usually like the middle size, right? They're small, medium, and large. So maybe that'll help you remember that. And then we got mode, which is the most. And that one's easy to remember because you got M-O and M-O. And the mode is the one that happens most often. You can have 2 modes. You could have 3 modes. You could even have no mode. Okay? If my data set was a 2, 2, 3, 4, 4. Okay, in this data set, my mode would be 2 and 4 because they both happen twice. If I had another 3 here, then I would have no mode because all of the numbers happen twice. If I were to have another 3 here, then I would have 1 mode and it would be 3 because that one happens 3 times and the 2 and the 4 only happen twice. So mean, median, and mode are all measures of something called central tendency. That's a big word. It basically just means it's like finding an average or a way to look at data and find out what the different terms of average or middle are. So like if I'm looking at your grades, then I might want to know, okay, well, what was the mean? Which will tell me if I add up all your scores and divide them, what the class average was. But sometimes, hey, if I got one outlier, if everyone got like B's and A's and then one kid just didn't study at all and got like a 20 on it, when I add in that 20, it's going to make it seem like the whole class did a lot worse than they really did. So I might be more interested in finding the median, which is the middle one, because then that outlier that was way down here as a 20 wouldn't matter so much. Or I might be more interested in finding the mode and want to know what was the most common score. Okay, so those are all central tendency. The range shows the spread or the difference between the largest and the smallest numbers, and that is something a little bit different than a measure of central tendency. So for our range, you're going to find the biggest number and the smallest number, and you're just going to subtract them. Let's look at one example together. We're going to find the mean, median, mode, and range of this data. So the first thing I do is I rewrite these numbers in numerical order when I get a data set. So I'm going to start with the smallest, which is a 1, and then a 2, and then a 3, and then a 5, and 5 happens twice, and then a 6, and then a 7, another 7, and then an 8. And now I'm going to start with the easiest ones to find, okay? right away, the thing that's easiest to find is the mode, because the mode is the one that happens most often. And we see that really quickly when we line them up this way. So 5 happened 2 times and 7 happened 2 times. So those are our modes. So our mode is 5 and 7. And remember, sometimes you could write no mode if they all happen the same amount of times, or there could be 3 modes, or there could just be 1. It just depends. Okay? Now the next easiest one to find is the range. So I'm going to take 8, and then I'm going to subtract a 1 from it. So 8 minus 1 is 7. And hey, if those were bigger numbers, I'd have to do the work, but 8 minus 1, that's easy to do in my head. So my range is 7. And now the next one I'm going to do, out of these two, median is probably easier to find, but once I start crossing off my numbers, it might be hard to figure out what they are to add them up. So we'll do the mean first and then the median. So to find the mean, I need to add all of these numbers up. Okay? And so I'm going to write them this way. 1, 2, 3, 5, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8. And now, just like I always do when I'm adding a lot of numbers, I look for convenient numbers to add. So 5 and 5 is 10. We got 7 and 3 is 10. We have 7 and 8 is 15. And then my 6, 7, 8, 9. I added the 1, the 2, and the 6 there. So now I got 10, 20, 35 plus 9 is 44. And now I need to divide that number by the number of total numbers that we had added. So let's see how many numbers there are. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers. So I'm going to divide 44 by 9. 4 times, 9 times 4 is 36. 44 minus 36 is 8. And so we have 4 and 8/9 as our mean. And eventually you'll be able to do that as a decimal, but for right now we will leave it as a fraction. And then our median. So our median, we're going to start from the outsides and work our way into the middle. Okay, so I'm going to cross off 8 and 1, and now 2 and 7, and now 3 and 7, and now 5 and 6, and I get 5 is in the middle. If I had 2 numbers, if it was a 5 and a 6 in the number, if I had another number here, if those were in the middle, I would add them up and get 11. I'd divide by 2, and I'd get 5.5 as my median. But since I only have 1, that is my median. It is 5. All right, you're only going to get these with practice. So come in tomorrow, and we will work on them together. Go ahead and get to work.